This is me. I bet you're wondering, how the fuck did this happen? Well, we'll get into that later. Anyway, I'm Chris. I spent my early 20s jumping out of planes and kicking indoors all over the world. After half a decade doing that, I decided I needed something new. When I decided to leave the army, I decided I was going to try and chase every dream that I had put off and use the army as an excuse not to pursue. With that in mind, I decided, fuck it. I'll try and become a world champion in striking. And fuck it, why not try to build a six-figure business while doing it? If that sounds interesting to you, then keep watching. This is my story. This is my day to day pursuing a world title and trying to build this fucking six-figure business from the ground up. Anyway, this was a Wednesday. Wednesday is usually my busiest training day. I hit a morning lift session, and then I hit a morning MMA session slash Muay Thai, and then I usually hit an afternoon wrestling session on Wednesdays. So they're hella crazy. Wednesday was lat day, lats and backs. So I did deadlifts, hang cleans, some bent over rows, and then I moved into some of the mobility, some live action movements. I love me some sled drags. They're good lat activations. Um, from there, hopped into some medicine ball throwdowns. Love me some medicine ball throwdowns. Good lat activation, good hamstring activation. It's really useful for a lot of the wrestling, a lot of the clinch work I do. Um, and yeah, overall, great gym session. And then immediately drove my black ass over to do some Muay Thai and MMA. For MMA, I hopped in with the MMA camp. One of our guys, he fights at either middleweight or light heavyweight. He had a fight camp going on, so of course I volunteered to go train with him, get some rounds in, get some situational stuff in. I love training in with MMA guys, even though I don't compete in MMA. I love training it for real life purposes, and the striking is just a little bit more fun, a little more versatile because of the takedown threat. After getting my MMA rounds in, hop back over to the Muay Thai class. Wednesday mornings is just sparring. So a lot more often, these guys will be fighters, or they'll be in fight camp, or they're just a little more intense, more experienced fighters. I enjoy Wednesday trainings because of that. I can train a little harder. I can put on guys a little more, but it's still pretty fun and friendly. Um, if you notice in this footage, I'm not wearing my elbow pads because I'm not in a Muay Thai camp right now. I'm looking at doing some K1 tournaments, looking at going to Waco Nationals this spring, IKF Worlds this spring as well. So I'm trying to get a little more K1 style in me right now rather than training for traditional Muay Thai. But yeah, overall, striking was fun. And then went home, ate up, got ready for my afternoon session. Like I said before, afternoon session is wrestling. Um, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a big grappling fan, but from a real life combat experience perspective, you should be able to wrestle. You should be able to do jujitsu. Um, and like I said, I like to train MMA. I'll probably take some MMA fights in the future, so it's important to train that wrestling and that grappling element. In this round, this is our first live round of the day. I got a pretty easy group. These guys weren't that experienced. They weren't high school wrestlers, no collegiate wrestlers. So it was pretty light work, pretty easy. After a couple of light rounds, with some of the beginners, I got put with this this fucking young savage states wrestler. So yeah, nothing crazy. Just getting whooped on by some high school junior. No big deal. Pretty powerful kid, pretty explosive. But like I tell people all the time, I'm old as shit. I'm not a wrestler. I got a lot of wear and tear on my body. Uh, so being explosive and getting good shots in is just not something in my repertoire. But overall, good time. I'll play a little highlight. I got 4 and 0'd by this kid. No shame. It's good learning experience, good humbling experience. People ask me all the time. They're like, Chris, you've done a bunch of jujitsu competitions. Why don't you just do jujitsu? It's a lot slower pace, a lot easier on the body than wrestling. Um, but I think wrestling's just better from the cardio perspective, from the muscular perspective. The intensity is really good to train. I think as a fighter, it's a better experience for me to train wrestling because the scrambles are a lot more intense than like jujitsu ones. But yeah, all in all, good day of training. This is a day in my life. If you're interested for more, you like what I do, you want to support the mission, just follow, keep up with what I do. I appreciate it. Play the outro, bitch.